my wrist doing that. That's how movable I've been today. I hope you are
Oh,
all well. I'm joined with Kim. Oh no, Kim
hello.
from Expedition Through Pages, and we're going to be talking about sleep. I don't know why my memory is so bad today. Sleep books, why we
You
sleep,
had no
and
sleep, is that why?
yes. I was on the sleep shift at work last night, so I'm just like,
Oh, what does that
but
mean?
yeah.
What time do you finish on the sleep
Um,
shift?
I start at 4 p.m. and then finish at 8 a.m. So I get up
Oh,
around, yeah, so it's all good fun. I did
oh
have
my
a nap, so
God.
I can't complain, but yes.
That's a
Um,
long shift, isn't it?
yes, it's
Hmm.
not too bad usually, but sometimes my brain just wakes up in the middle of the night and it's like, oh, here are all lots of things to think about. But maybe
Yeah.
we could talk about that later.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, which
I have
is,
it here.
well, I won't spoil any. I haven't got it. I don't know why I haven't been taking my physical books out much recently, but yes. And Wide Awake and Dreaming.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I don't have that. I have it on my,
yeah,
just
me
not there.
neither. I'll just pretend. I don't know why I'm putting my hands up. I'm so disorientated. I feel like this is a mirror, but it's not. Um, but yes, and this is the ex book club, I should probably say as well.
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, I'm going to put my phone on silent because people were messaging me. Not that I'm popular or anything, it's just my mum, I think. But I don't know if my mum will tune in, so hello if you're here. But
Oh,
yes, I don't know where we want to get started, really. I've put this jumper on and now I'm really warm, and it wasn't a good decision, really, was it? But yes, oh, that was a bit close. So yeah, I don't know if you want to start with why we sleep.
yeah,
Um,
definitely, definitely.
yeah.
Did you
So
have a
I.
favorite of either of them? Just
Oh, sorry. What did you say?
did you have a favorite of either of them? Do you reckon?
I
I guess,
think. Oh, why we sleep. I think was my favorite out of the two because
yeah,
it's just such. It's just like the epitome of good, like popular science writing. I think for me
yeah,
anyway. Like
yeah.
there are still a few things I think I would have liked more.
Hello.
But hello. Oh, I haven't even got the comments on. Maybe I should have a look. Hello. That was a bit. Sorry, a bit. What do you call it? Energetic. Most of my editing in my videos is just count like getting out the ums and ahs whenever I
Oh
talk.
yeah.
So that's good. Hello, Lay. I hope you enjoyed the books.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was saying, but it probably
Yeah.
wasn't very interesting.
Well, just Why We Sleep was so jam packed, full of like so much good stuff. I feel
Mm,
like he did a really good job, and I really liked about it that all the references were like at the bottom of the page as well, so you could
yes.
immediately see them. I preferred it than having to like go to the back and see what they were.
I love me some footnotes.
Oh yes, that was such a geeky thing for me to say, wasn't it?
Oh no, 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 not at all. It's just I think from like uni it's just been drilled into my brain and oh yeah, not good times. Referencing.
Oh yeah,
Good
I always
referencing
love
makes me
about
happy.
some referencing.
Yeah. Doing it
Absolutely.
yourself is a bit of a pain, but when you see it done well, it's like, yes, thank you.
Definitely.
But yes, I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed both books quite a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah. I think Why We Sleep was my favourite. I read it for the first time about this time last year, um, for the podcast I used to do, RIP, which I only did like 4 episodes of. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's resting in peace now. Still
Um,
out there, but it's just a bit
what
rubbish.
was it
So there
called
we
again?
go. That's a good question. The Advancement of Reading, which is like a really pretentious title as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Maybe I'll go
wouldn't
back and give it a
recommend
listen.
it.
I don't think I listened to it before. I didn't.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't blame you, to be honest. It is a bit boring.
No, I bet it's not. I bet it's not. It'll be
Oh,
interesting because I'm actually interested to see what you said about this book then compared to
mm,
what you said about it now. So I might go and listen to that
yeah.
later on. Yeah.
I think, oh, I'm getting a bit breathy. I think I, thinking about it a year on, there are still things that I would have liked now to have been put in that I didn't think around the first time. But yes, I don't know if I should discuss that later or now or whenever. I'd better not bend that down too much because you'll see the mess that is my room. So I'll leave it there.
I'm like, that to be washing away from the area behind me.
Oh God. I think it would
Uh,
take me like 5 weeks to finish doing my washing, but we shall not speak about that.
um, oh, yes, I didn't quite finish. Why?
No, you're not.
No,
You're not. I'm just going to put that on and say that you were not a bad book club member. I am a bad book club member because I'm in this Southampton book club and I've only been to one thing in like 6 months or even more than that. I don't know. So
it is
there we
lockdown
go.
though, so I feel like you're excused.
Yes, I'm giving myself lots of excuses.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
worry though, because I literally finished Why We Sleep about half an hour ago. So
It's so
the
like
pressure of
dense
a
as
life
well.
there. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
dense. It is.
yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on, Hannah.
Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, so yeah. So do you want to start with what you messaged me about your thoughts on Why We Sleep?
Yeah. So I think the thing I liked most about this was like the science stuff. And I was like, oh, look at all these long words that I can't pronounce. In my podcast episode, I can't pronounce anything and I still can't pronounce anything. But the thing I really liked about it, I think the main thing I liked about it was the talk of I still can't pronounce it. Adenosine? Adenosine. How do you pronounce that?
I didn't look it up, but I think I pronounced it adenosine. Adenosine.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
adenosine.
I should have looked it up before.
Well, you're the scientist, so I shall go with how you
No,
say
no,
it.
no, absolutely not.
Oh, yes, you are. Um,
No.
but the fact, I just love it because it's just, I don't know if it's this chemical, I don't even know where it is in the brain, I can't even remember. But the fact that it explains why I feel tired all the time and it just feels like I'm being recognized.
So
So, what
that's
it
the
is,
yeah. Sorry, go on.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that what it is, I don't really know what it is to be honest, but it just builds up if you don't sleep well and you need to like kind of sleep it off. And if you don't sleep it off, you'll feel tired and tired and tired and tired. Um, and when I remember the first time I read that, when I found out about that, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And it just, I think it's a good, um, what's the word? This is another thing in my videos. You don't see me thinking about what words to use because I edit it out. A good campaign for getting more sleep, I think, learning about this chemical.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yes, but I don't know what you thought about learning about. I don't know
Yeah.
if you knew this existed already or.
No, I didn't. I didn't, and I didn't really know about because it all links in with the is it circadian rhythm? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah,
We've looked this
I
up
don't know.
before. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting how like the sleep pressure can build up, but then you'll still like if you go past it, you'll still get the highs from like the other part that's your natural
Yeah,
sleep pattern. Because it just explains so much as to what you experience. I thought that was really cool. And it's made me really, really conscious now about my caffeine intake because I drink a lot of coffee. And I've tried to, if it's past 12 um, midday, then now I try and have decaf instead of caffeinated coffee
mm,
because it's made me really aware of like caffeine getting in the way of all the adenosine or whatever it's called,
yeah,
and blocking it out. So yeah, I thought that was so interesting.
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I found talking about caffeine, I didn't realize decaf is like 15% of normal caffeine. I was like, whoa, like 15% of the dose. And I was like, whoa. Well, I think that was, I don't know what brands that was or not, or if that's with all of them. I guess it's
Yeah,
like
I
when
can't
things
remember.
say no added sugar. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying, yeah, I couldn't remember. He did say a percentage, didn't he? I remember. Like, there's
Yeah.
still like trace elements of it in there, but surely like nowhere near as much. Like,
Yeah, I'd hope so. Because
yeah.
otherwise it's a bit of a, I don't know, fake advertising. That's if it's still 15% in my opinion. Yes.
But I feel like because they give it to pregnant women and stuff, it can't be significant amounts that are going to be harmful. But then you don't know, do you? It might, you don't know if they're going to portray it in the right way. But hopefully it's not anywhere near as bad as regular caffeine.
Yeah. Can pregnant women, are they not supposed to drink caffeine?
No.
Really? Oh my God, I never knew that. It's a good job I'm not pregnant, because all these things I don't know. Oh my God, I never knew that.
If it messes with the baby's like sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never really knew why. So that's the thing. I feel like this book has opened my eyes to so many like reasons why you shouldn't do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like the spiders, the spider webs of when the spiders were given all the different drugs and stuff? Now I have to say, this is like one thing about this book. All the talk about all the experiments on the animals made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even the spider one, like giving the spiders different drugs, I felt bad for the spiders, and I felt bad for all the animals throughout the book. But then it did kind of teach you things as well. So it was interesting and really kind of made me feel bad at the same time. So I don't know if what you felt about that, but I felt really like conflicted reading all that stuff.
Yeah. I think animals shouldn't be tested on at all. But then I remember when I was in sixth form, that's good English, sixth form, someone, well, I think it's definitely, it shouldn't be done at all. Someone made the argument, what if, I don't know why I still think about this like 6 or 7 years on, what if it's done so that, I can't concentrate. My brain is just all over the place. So the animals, it's for the animals' benefit. So they're researching something that could help, I don't know, like an illness that animals get.
Right, yeah.
At the same time, I don't know of any experiments like that. And I still think there is different methods, like using plants or whatever else. I don't know that much about it that can be used instead. But at the same time, when it comes to sleep, how would you do that? I don't know. But
yeah, I think it was just like the extent of some of the experiments that I didn't like forcing like the rats and dogs to stay awake until they die from lack of sleep. I thought was horrific. Like, I know it was a long time ago and practices have changed now, but it's one of those things where you learn like good scientific information, but then actually thinking about doing that just is like horrendous. So I'm glad that they've stopped all of that now. But yeah, it's like, how far do you go by trying to make an animal sick just to find out information about sleep?
Yeah, it's so horrible.
Yeah. But then when you think about all the benefits of sleep, then like, yeah, it's worth the research. Like, so it's hard, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I totally hijacked that. But I was thinking about the spiders and the webs because I thought that was like crazy that's what happened.
Yeah. I remember reading that, and then I was looking at all the spider webs, like, well, in Tom's, that's my partner's wing mirrors, and thinking, oh, what does this mean about the spiders? And like, I don't know, I've just overanalyzed spider webs since reading that bit. But yeah, the poor little spiders. I mean, they're obviously in distress. Well, obviously in distress, and it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel sad. I mean, it's interesting, but then I don't know, it's just how far will we go for knowledge, for human knowledge? And I don't think you wouldn't do that with humans, would you? And animal testing is still so frequent throughout the whole world as well. And it's just, I don't know, there are other methods now, but yes, it's not good. Poor little animals. I want to save them all and give them cuddles. Well, not the spiders, because I'm a bit scared of spiders.
Yeah,
but...
it's not about
But the little doggies, that's all right. Little beagles. Yeah. Oh, I find it very interesting. What else did I want to talk about? There's something. This is something that's made a really lasting impact on me that I think about on a very regular basis, and it's how we are genetically different kind of sleepers. So, for example, when he was talking about 30% of people are night owls, 40% are morning people, and 30% are somewhere in between. this is something I think about all the time because I keep on thinking about school or my work. There's absolutely no consideration of this whatsoever. And when he argues that schools should be kind of set up so they're doing different time frames and work should be doing different time frames depending on how you sleep, I just think that that is something that I would really benefit from because, like I said, 8 a.m. is too early for me to be awake. It's just I can't. I've never been able to get up early. Well, from like age 11 onwards, and I find it so hard. Um, and it never gets easier at all. And I just wish that workplaces and schools would kind of implement something like what he's saying
Mm.
because it just doesn't work for me. And I could just get a new job, but I don't think that's going to happen because
Well, yeah, that's
no
the
one
thing.
wants me.
Well, that's not true, I'm sure. But it's at the
Oh,
moment, it's so difficult to get any job for anybody. So
yeah.
that's the thing. I feel like, did you at the end? I read the end bit just about half an hour ago, and he was saying about how in America the school times are like 7:30 or stuff like that. And it
Mm,
was like crazy early, and so he was arguing for Americans to start school at 9. I don't know what time your school started, but mine started at 9:10, I think.
mm,
So it's quite late comparatively. But I think yeah, like in the workplace, I feel like when you're adults, I don't understand why offices or have like shift work, but where you can choose it yourself. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So that you
definitely.
can be like, okay, well, I'm going to come into the office at 11 and finish at 7. And I've got friends that they kind of peak in their productivity times at 5. So at 5 o'clock, everybody's packing up to go home and they want to keep going, keep
Yeah.
working. But it's just really difficult for some reason. Like, there's not many offices that will allow you to do that.
Mm,
The work I do is very structured. It's evening work only, primarily. That's not true. Like sometimes I can finish at like 11ish and then have to be back at work at 9 a.m. the next day, depending on what day it is. But yeah, and I'm thinking
mm,
when I go back to work after this, am I going to try and argue that that's not okay? Because
mm,
it's not very long in between to get home, get some sleep, get up, go back
yeah.
in. But yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. So would you say you're like a night owl then, basically?
Definitely, I think so. Like when I'm at home, not doing anything, like say, I don't know, after uni I had some time off, or after my last job I had some time off. When I get back into the swing of my normal pattern, I usually go to bed at like 2 in the morning and then get up at like 10, and I feel refreshed and happy and oh, it's lovely. But I don't know, no matter how many times I get up at 7 in the morning, it's still, I always feel drained in the mornings, always feel too tired,
Yeah,
and I need to go to bed at like 9 tonight to be able to get up tomorrow morning to settle down my brain because it's like crazy, and I'm like, oh, I just need to get settled for 1 hour before I can actually go to sleep at this time. But
yeah,
I don't know about you. Are you a night owl or
yeah.
which one do you think?
I definitely am a night owl. Um, I think I genuinely, but I don't know if that's because with my work is evening work, so maybe I've just trained myself to be a night owl. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I definitely can. Yeah, I'm not a very good morning person. Even though I like waking up in the morning, if I get up at 9 and I feel like, yeah, I'm like, I feel productive, but then I'm still sleepy until I've had a coffee, and I still need an hour and a half to like wake up. So I probably am more of a
Yeah.
night owl, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
This is another thing I was thinking of, like in terms of productivity. Like people I know at work love getting up early in the morning, and they say, oh, I love getting up early in the morning because I can be really productive and get everything done. And then I think that's kind of embedded in our culture that we need to be productive so much. Like I had a nap earlier because I was tired from work, and I was thinking, oh, I shouldn't really have one because I have so many things I need to do, or blah blah blah. And I was just thinking, I don't know, that we should give ourselves more breaks, I think, and not feel bad for sleeping or sleeping in, especially during this time as well. Like, we need rest, even in normal circumstances. And I don't know, I think we should just sleep more, in my opinion.
I think you're right. I'm actually having big trouble sleeping at the moment. I wake up like every hour. So, and after reading this,
Oh,
now I'm
blimey.
terrified. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think last week I was trying just to like sleep in as long as possible, so I wasn't getting up till 10 or 11. So you feel like you've wasted the day because that's how society tells you things are.
Mm.
But then yeah, so you kind of feel bad about it. But then I feel like I needed the rest because otherwise I wasn't getting to sleep till 4 or 5, like, or 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's like forgiving you and forgiving yourself and being like, okay, well now I can get up and do all the things I need to do. It doesn't have to be between like 9 and 12. So yeah,
Yeah,
just about
definitely.
retraining your own mind to
Yeah.
accept that kind of thing. I've just seen somebody else has written. Is this Tom? Is that Tom?
Oh, who's Tom? Sorry. My partner, Tom.
Is that Tom? Am I right?
Is what, sorry?
In the comments.
I don't know. My comments haven't. Oh, that's why. I guess the trend for increased flexible working might help with that. Yes. The only thing is with that is like in our jobs, it's kind of harder to do something like that because it's kind of structured around different people, I guess, both of our jobs. Although they're quite different, it's kind of more difficult for us rather than Tom, who's JKL. Do you want to know how he made this stupid username? He couldn't be bothered to write his name, so he just flattened his hand down on the keyboard and he was like, right, yeah, that's fine. So JKL, who's actually Tom, my partner, he works well, not in an office, he works at home, but ordinarily he would work in an office. And I think for him, he's got to go to maybe 2 or 3 meetings a day. And that's all he has to turn up for. He obviously has to work between that, but it means for Tom, he can work pretty much whenever he wants to. And he did a PhD as well, and he was one of the first in and one of the first to leave. But a lot of other people, they would come in at like 10, 11 and leave much later. And I think that's brilliant, but it only works for some people. But I don't know, it's a difficult one. I am very glad that the trend has trended. But yeah, it is a good trend, but I don't know, I just wish my managers would take into account I hate mornings. But there we go.
Yeah, but your kind of shift work is very difficult, isn't it? Because it's like such extreme differences.
Yeah.
Did you reread the bit about the medical profession that he wrote
Oh,
about
what
kind of,
part was that? Sorry.
it was right at the end where he's talking about changes in society and like
Oh,
how
yeah.
they make kind of in America they make the medical people work 30 hours straight, or I think he was saying that the residents in their first year now, they can only work 24 hours straight before they have to go home for an 8-hour break. But then that's an 8-hour break. It's not like a sleep for 8 hours. You have to do everything in the 8 hours. And yeah, it just feels like much more extreme in like the medical world. I don't know if that's just America or if it's the NHS here as well. But I know that they do long shift work, but I don't know how long that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you know anyone who works in NHS.
I do. Yes. I know someone who is a doctor on the front line. I'm not sure on her exact hours, but she works probably 10, not as extreme as that, but like 60-hour plus weeks. And I know people in my work who have done 24-hour shifts or who have just worked consistently without any breaks. Like they've done a sleep shift at one service and then they go to another service to do another shift.
Oh wow.
And I don't work for the NHS. I work for a private company. But yeah, I think this does happen as well in England. But I don't think it's reported as much
I mean, I guess
outside of the NHS.
it's hard, isn't it? I guess if it's like you can choose your work hours and it's private, then some people just need to keep working as much as possible, don't they? So they don't get a choice in the matter. You have to go from shift to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it changes. It's such a big, massive thing to change, and it is much easier for office workers to kind of decide to go in 3 hours later and leave 3 hours later than it is for other professions. And if you think about like all people like that go in and clean up the offices before, they still have to get up really early to go in and do that because they have to do it before everyone else gets in. So it's going to be a really hard thing to change if it ever changes fully, definitely. But I feel like we've been cheated a little bit in this world. I feel like we've set up society wrong. It kind of all needs breaking down and redoing in so many ways.
We need to destroy capitalism. There we go. I said it.
Yeah, well,
well, it's not that.
In a way.
I shall not talk about capitalism much more today, but it has some perks, but some big failings as well. But there we go. I won't talk about politics.
Yeah, politics is sport. But yeah, I just have a little look at my notes. Oh yeah, I was going to talk to you about napping actually, but you just said you had a nap today. So because I'm not a napper, and I feel like that would benefit me, but I always find it hard to sleep anyway. And then if I do nap, I wake up really disoriented and like, what's going on? What's happening? And it freaks me out a bit. So I don't tend to nap, but I feel like I should now. So do you nap like a lot?
Not really. I did a lot in my first year. Oh, I'm going to get rid of you, Tom. There we go. I did a lot in my first year of uni. So that's only because I didn't sleep proper hours. I just kind of went to bed sometimes 3 in the morning and get up at 9, and then I didn't even think that was a bad thing. I was like, I'm just gonna do that and then have a nap, maybe 2 throughout the day. But nowadays I'll only have a nap usually if I'm on a sleep shift, or if I do it by accident. I have a lot of accidental naps. Like I'm sitting on the sofa reading and I'm like, and then I just kind of plod off. That's quite not a rare occurrence. But yeah, usually when I get up from naps, I feel kind of and like I need a cup of tea. Or, I don't know. I get this really funny feeling like in my mouth and my throat, and I just feel really drowsy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that as well.
I'd
like to know what that was about. Oh, sorry. What did you say?
No, I was going to say I don't sleep enough in the day to know if that happens because I kind of avoid it a bit. But didn't he say that you're much less likely to have heart attacks and stuff if you have a nap in the day?
Oh, there's so many medical things in here that I can't remember everything, and I'm like, oh.
I know, that's the thing. It's so full on, and there's so much to think about all the time. The other thing I really liked reading about was about like memory, and I wish I'd known about it when I was at uni. Because I think I crammed so much, and I was up so early to study and then didn't go to bed till so late, and then basically just in my master's completely wrecked myself because I was just like awake, like doing too much, I think. And now I feel like I've forgotten everything. So I'm like, now I wish I could go back and like do it again, really. But I thought that was just fascinating, like how the brain waves actually work and like what your different parts, like sleep types and what dreaming does and all that kind of stuff. Like the therapy of dreaming, I thought that fascinated me, that chapter. It's so interesting. And how you have to dream about the thing that's worrying you to kind of move on from it and all of that. That's really, really interesting to me. And now it's making me want to control my dreams.
Yeah, it's so cool. Although, I don't know, like the thing with dreaming about things to kind of get over them, at the same time, I've had dreams where I've developed a new fear. Like, for example, a fear of heights. I never had a fear of heights. I don't really have a fear of heights as such. I only have fear of heights when I feel like I could fall off of whatever it was. So, for example, I have dreams of shopping centres where I'm at the top and there's no bars and I could easily just fall. And I never used to have that. And now my dreams are like, oh, you're going to be scared of this now. I'm like, oh, fantastic.
So it's done the opposite for you.
Yes. And like last night I had a dream. Oh, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I said that's interesting.
And last night I had a dream my flat was on fire. And now I'm scared my flat's going to be on fire.
Yeah, I know him actually. It's nightmares. He didn't really go into nightmares. which I
Yeah.
thought that's like a massive thing that happens at night that he didn't talk about. And I wonder why he left that out. Because yeah, you're right. It's kind of, I was talking to my partner about it, and he was like, well, what's the purpose of nightmares if dreaming's supposed to like give you therapy to get over things, but then nightmares freak you out and make you worse, like you say. So yeah, I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah,
If
me
anybody's
too.
watching and knows more about that, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
would love to have heard more. So he talked about what a lack of sleep can cause in terms of mental health, like increased depression. I don't know, I can't remember if he talked about anxiety now, but I would have liked to have known a bit more about how having mental health problems can impact your sleep. So, for example, anxiety, ADHD, things like this, like how it impacts how good a rest you get. For example, I hate to talk about my work again, but when I have to get up at 8 a.m., well, earlier than that, I keep on thinking, right, I have to sleep well tonight. I have to sleep well tonight. And I've
yeah,
had anxiety through pretty much my whole life. And I just over worry about things and I worry I won't sleep. And then that causes me to not sleep. And I just want to know, what kind of things does he think you could do to kind of overcome that, or why that happens, or yeah, just really more about mental health and how it impacts sleep and dreams and nightmares, because maybe if you're feeling more anxious you'll have more nightmares, or
yeah. I
I
think
don't
I
know.
remember him saying about having, if people with insomnia, usually it's because of anxiety reasons or depression, but it is like an emotional thing, I think he said, more than anything else. So, but he doesn't obviously go into detail about therapy. I think he mentioned, what's it called, cognitive behavioral therapy as a thing to get over insomnia before going down the sleeping pill route and all of that. Um, yeah, and he did say about ADHD. He mentioned at the end today. I read about how he claims that about 50% of children who have ADHD as a, what do we call it? They tell them they have ADHD. The word has gone from my head. That they actually have a sleep deficiency instead, so they get misdiagnosed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he did say that he doesn't understand why doctors don't ask about children's sleep before they get kind of diagnosed with ADHD. So he does, yeah, I think that is a big link. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you're lying at night and you get loads of anxiety and things like that, it's like, how do you overcome it? I guess that's, yeah,
Yeah.
having therapy and things like that probably gets you
Yeah.
through. But I think he's a massive, massive advocate for going to sleep therapy and all of that stuff, isn't he? He's very
Yeah.
much like on that side of the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the sleeping pill thing kind of freaked me out. I've never taken sleeping pills, but it kind of freaked me out learning about how it sedates you and you don't get your proper night's sleep and all of that. It was kind of freaky to read about. But yeah, so definitely try and get over the emotional bit rather than just take a pill, was my takeaway from the book.
Yeah. It's just reading about that. It's just, oh God. And all the things you can get from lack of sleep. I was like, this is absolutely terrifying. Um,
Yeah. I
I
wasn't
can't
that scared like throughout the whole book. Like I thought I was going to be really scared, and then the last few chapters really freaked me out a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it was about it, but yeah, it was like actually looking at society as a whole and all of that. Just I don't know, it just freaked me out a bit. But
Yeah. And just, oh, talking, well, a little bit about narcolepsy, but the other um ailment or mental disorder he mentioned, oh God, I can't remember the whole name of it. Fatal familial
oh,
sleep
that
disorder
one,
or something. I
yeah,
didn't know
that
that
was
existed.
terrifying.
Yes.
Absolutely terrifying. That's where you can't sleep at all eventually, and then you just pass away. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that must be so rare. That must be. But yeah,
Yeah.
that really freaked me out. It was like, especially because that poor guy hit him at 40, didn't it? And then he didn't know. Oh, terrifying.
It
Um,
is. I wish
but
he never
yeah,
mentioned it.
there was a few things in this book where I feel like I wish you hadn't mentioned that. But yeah, I guess it's just he's talking about the extremes, isn't it? Though there's always extremes in everything to do with life. So it makes for a good read, I guess. Because even that guy who had who went and murdered someone in his sleep, that's terrifying that happened. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish it wasn't in there as well.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't make me want to sleep in the same flat as Tom now, because what if he gets up and starts acting out his... Well, I think I'm more likely to do that, to be honest, but I don't know, it's scary.
It wasn't dreaming though, was it? That was what shocked me the most about sleepwalking, is that you don't act out your REM dreams.
Yeah.
It just comes from another part of your brain. So that was really interesting. But I did think, because, hang on a second, I'm just getting my thoughts together. Yeah, because he was like talking a lot about, he says things in such a matter-of-fact way. It did make me wonder like how I would feel if I was someone with a sleeping disorder reading this, because I think I would be, it was kind of good that he did it in such a matter-of-fact way, partly, but then another part is it was a little bit insensitive in parts, I think. Especially reading the narcolepsy bit after reading Wide Awake and Dreaming, I kind of felt like I was reading it from Julie's perspective, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I'd like the way he's saying this in such a... Basically, I think he said like something like, would life be worth living if you had all your emotions? And I thought, oh, that's a bit harsh, because he used to say people can't have a good life without those highs and lows. You know, there's plenty of people here that take medication that kind of dull their emotions down. But on the whole, I think he did a good job at being pretty like matter of fact and not making people feel bad. But I think, yeah, from the perspective of someone with something, I'd say it's kind of a cautious read.
Yeah, definitely. I would be interested if Julie Flygare has read this book. Like,
yeah,
I would want to hear what her opinions are of it. Yes.
Can we talk about Wide Awake and Dreaming?
Yes.
The transition.
Yes. I don't really know how to explain this book other than that it's just a memoir of a lady who developed narcolepsy at university when she was studying for a law degree. Like, that's kind of where it kicks off, isn't it? Her life. And I think the thing that shocked me the most about this, I know someone whose partner has narcolepsy, and I guess I'm kind of ignorant because I didn't realize it was such a gradual thing. I don't know why, I just assumed it was something that kind of comes on really quickly and affects you really quickly. Like straight away, these big things keep on happening. Like you keep on passing out as soon as you start developing it. But yeah, just seeing how someone's life can be so impacted by narcolepsy was just a bit harrowing, I think, and a bit shocking. And now I think I've gained a better picture on how the person I know, how his life and his wife's life is just so impacted by narcolepsy. And yeah, I feel like I've developed more, not more empathy, well, more empathy, but also just a better understanding, definitely, of how narcolepsy works and how tragic it can be. But yes, that was kind of longer than I intended to be.
No, cool. I'd say, yeah, I agree. Although I think like, I don't think everybody starts off with it so gradual, do they? I'm not 100% sure about that. But I don't know if Julie's was like an extreme case or not. But yeah, it was kind of frightening how, even from the first chapter, so those of you who haven't read it, when it basically starts where when she laughs about things, then her knees buckle underneath her, and she feels like she's falling. And then this went on for like a few months or a year or something, and then it progressed. And any kind of she has the thing called cataplexy, so any kind of emotional thing makes her body go into REM sleep, which means everything kind of paralyzes, and so you can just collapse to the floor and not be able to move. And it did build up really slowly, didn't it? And I think that's why for part of the book, she was kind of so in denial about it, wasn't she? And just kind of kept trying to live normally and not tell anyone about it and just try and be strong and independent and all the rest of it, for kind of too long. But then also it was difficult because nobody could diagnose her, like not even the doctors kind of knew, or, you know, which is kind of shocking really. But I suppose there's so much that doctors don't, like doctors need to know about. You can't know about everything. So I felt really sorry for her having to kind of accept it over time, I guess. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. And then even the medication was just very unhelpful as well as helpful. So yeah, it was very, very eye-opening book, and I do highly recommend it if you haven't read it, definitely.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It's weird because it's not an extremely well written book. I don't know how you feel about that, Hannah, but it's kind of like a conversational book, so you feel like you're chatting to a mate. I felt like she was just telling us a story like we were sat in a coffee shop kind of thing. I don't know if you felt the same as me.
Yeah, I think I think you listened to it on audiobook as well, didn't you?
Oh no, I
Or
didn't. Did you?
Oh, yes, I did. So I think
Oh,
that changed
interesting.
my experience because
Yeah.
it was she read her own book as well, and I think if I had maybe read it as an ebook, I wouldn't. Maybe I would have thought it wasn't as well written, but when she's actually speaking it out loud, I did think it was quite good, just because you could hear her own voice, her own expression of her words. But yeah, just hearing how it's just completely impacted her life and how her career path is just completely changed because of narcolepsy. It's difficult to hear about because this is the case for so many people with narcolepsy. And the fact it's just kind of sprung out of nowhere as well. I just feel so bad for her. And the medication, like you were saying, I'm hoping things have developed since, well, this is books what's like not 15 years old, like 12 years old, is it? I can't remember when it came out now. But I would hope that, yeah, the medication has improved. And doctors, I hope that they've improved as well, because I feel like I've seen doctors about mental health things and they're just kind of, some of them are just completely oblivious. And I feel like a lot of them think of physical ailments rather than mental ailments. Like I was having loads of anxiety at school. It was making me feel nauseous and sick. I went to the doctor. They said, "Oh, we'll do some what do you call it? Allergy tests." I did that, and they said, "Oh, no, they're all negative, so we don't know what's wrong with you." I'm like, "Do you not know anything about anxiety?" Back then, I thought it was actually a physical thing, but it wasn't. It was just anxiety. And I just wish that doctors just, the thing is, doctors, it's not like they're not trained with this. It's like with my work, I work in healthcare. You can be trained as much as you want, but whether you actually put it into practice is a different thing entirely. So there we go. That was a bit of an
No, I
opinion.
think I've had similar issues with doctors, to be honest, and I don't understand why some doctors are like that. Like I've been laughed at in some cases when I've gone to
Oh
speak.
God.
Yeah, it was a very strange experience. And I had another doctor who I suffer with OCD, so I plucked up courage to go and actually speak to someone about it years ago now, and she just said, "Well, with OCD, you've just got to stop." I was like, "Oh, okay." And at the time, I was so embarrassed because I was embarrassed anyway. And then obviously she said that, and it took me about another 8 years to go. And so now I'm finally getting help for it. But it took me a long time to go back and say, "Okay, actually, can we try and sort this out, please?" And now the people I talk to about it are horrified that she even said that to me. Like, "Oh, you just got to stop." Okay, all right then, problem solved. It's difficult, but I think GPs are becoming more aware of stuff now. So hopefully it'll just carry on getting better.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so.
So it can be just very difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Going
God,
to
I'm sorry to hear about that. There's so many.
It is what it is, but it's yeah, don't listen to your doctor if they say anything like that to you. It's not true. I'm just like looking to see when it was written, because I think when Wide Awake and Dreaming was written, hold on, let me have a look and see. Oh gosh. Oh, 2013 it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
But
lot later.
in Wide Awake and Dreaming, I think when he talks about narcolepsy, he said the drugs that she was on.
Ah, you make
Yeah.
these connections and I'm completely oblivious.
It's just because I only finished it today. That's why.
Yeah.
That's literally it. But yeah, so and this was 2007, but there's not that much difference in it, I suppose. It's 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I do hope that I don't really know because narcolepsy seems like more of a, well, it has far more of a physical impact, say, than when I had anxiety. I still had physical symptoms, but with narcolepsy, it's obviously your body is being impacted by what's going on in your head as well. I would like to know
Yeah.
more about the neuroscience of it all,
Yeah, definitely.
how that works. I'm just re-sticking something to my wall. This is what I mean. I get distracted so often. But yeah, it was just really hard to read about. And
It was
another
really
thing,
hard to read about. Yeah.
yeah, another thing that kind of surprised me was that I don't know, I don't want to call him my friend because he's not my friend. Not that that's, I don't mean to be harsh. It's just that I'm not his friend. I only knew him at uni, but his wife, I think, might have had it more severe in that when she did experience like episodes of collapsing, I think they lasted for quite a long time rather than like a few seconds. Or I'm not sure how long she said they lasted for. Was it a few seconds or
Yeah, it
I can't.
wasn't that long. It was like, it seemed to be a few minutes, didn't it? Or at most, I think. But I can't
Yeah,
remember now. Yeah.
yeah. Because I think his wife has it more often and maybe for longer periods of time as well.
That's
Um,
scary.
yeah, and I just feel so bad for people who have it, and I just hope that medication improves and that GPs are more aware of it. But now Why We Sleep is such a popular book. I hope that GPs read this kind of thing and think, oh yes, even
Yeah.
though they probably know what most of it is anyway.
I
But
hope everybody, I hope managers read it. I hope that, like, if
yeah,
teachers read it, I hope everybody reads it, parents, everyone, because I
yeah,
think it's definitely eye-opening, and there is definitely that kind of I've worked with so many people who take pride in only sleeping for 5 hours, and I worked with someone once who was trying to do a napping style of sleeping where they would only sleep for like an hour and a half, like every now and then, but like
oh,
seemed to be exhausted a lot, and I'm not sure that was the best way to do it. um
hmm.
Personally, but yeah, so, and like there was a trend on YouTube, wasn't there, a few years ago, of everybody getting up at 5 a.m. and stuff, but then you probably didn't go to sleep like 8 hours before 5 a.m. So it's yeah, I think it's something that everybody needs to be aware of, really, definitely.
I think a lot of people still do that. Like 20, I'm just going to say about 24-hour readathons. I think the culture around it, I think it is quite unhealthy. And I see so many videos, although it is a cool concept, like people, how many of these books can I read in 24 hours? And how many of this, how many pages can I read in 24 hours? And I think it's cool that people want to read so much, but at the same time, to be applauding not sleeping, I don't think is a thing we should be doing really. Like we should just it just kind of adds on to the idea that sleep is like weak or that napping is weak or I don't know, that's just my opinion anyway. I just think I don't know.
I
There's
can
a lot of
totally see
pressure
where
to
you're
read a
coming
lot.
from. But it's
Mm,
difficult, isn't it? Because like I love watching those videos, like the 24
yeah.
hour challenge ones. I think they're really fun vlogs. But I've read this book, I saw someone the other day saying, "Oh, I might just not sleep tonight and read" in one of their vlogs, and I cringed because I've just finished reading this book, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know how I feel about that anymore." But then it's difficult, isn't it? Because I don't know, like everybody knows what they should do to kind of give themselves the best chance of like health and all the rest of it. But then there's still plenty of things that people do in spite of that, like drinking and smoking and all the rest of it. So it's kind of about, but like whatever you're comfortable with in a way. Like if you kind of want the fun of staying up and missing sleep, but knowing the cost, then I don't know. Then I guess I don't know. I think it's difficult because it's like I don't know how much of a. I feel like it's important to kind of share the knowledge, definitely, but then it's still like kind of choice, I guess. At the end of the day, if you kind of want to be like, oh, I'll just. But I guess it's people don't know that it's so bad for your health, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the problem, and it's really put me off alcohol as well. Now I know that alcohol is a sedative, and like I usually not usually, but I do often have a glass of wine when we watch TV at night and stuff, and I've started hesitating about that now as well. So I think the more that people know, the more better choices they can make. But then obviously, if they want to do it and they want to risk it, then I guess it's all individual kind of choice and stuff.
Definitely. I agree. People should be free to do what they want within the law.
As long as it doesn't hurt anyone else.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, apart from going for a mass shooting or something, which is definitely disgusting. Why do I have to bring up mass shooting?
People don't go out and shoot a bunch of people. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because I have to say, like, I felt like a lot of empathy for Julie when I was reading her book, but then equally, like every time she got in a car, I did feel frustrated with her because I was like, why do you keep insisting on driving when you know that you could fall asleep at any minute or that you could have cataplexy? Like, it really put me on edge. But then equally, that's unfair of me to say because obviously from her point of view, she just wanted to live her life and needed to live her life and needed to get through law school and go and see her dad and stuff like that. So, but it definitely, I was getting very frustrated about it. Like, when I was reading it, it was making me worry. Oh, sorry, Lace written something.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just add that. But just quickly, when she said, when she was at the conference and other people asked, "Oh, do you still drive?" and she said yes. I wonder how they actually thought of that. I think similar to how we feel. It's like just I don't know. I don't want to compare it to having like a glass of alcohol or anything, but it is dangerous, isn't it? Like getting in a car when you could fall asleep. It's the same as driving when you are really tired. You shouldn't do it if you're feeling exhausted because I think that was in Why We Sleep as well. Like you can have like micro sleeps where you fall asleep for only 1 second and you cause a crash on the motorway. Like that's only 1 second. Oh, but yes, I'm just going to show Lay's comment. I was surprised about the concept of sleep debt and that that was the one I was supposed to click on, but I'll do it anyway. And that we really can't catch up on sleep. That changed my view about pulling all-nighters to study. It just doesn't seem worth it in the long run. I agree. I think I'm just really lazy and just sleep all the time. So yeah.
That's a really good thing though. You're like, that's really good.
I don't know.
But I know what you mean. I wish I didn't pull like all-nighters now. Or like so many nights at uni where I only slept for 3 hours because I was a mature student. So I couldn't do the all-nighters because I couldn't make it. But I would always like when the younger ones were doing the all-nighters, I'd only sleep 3 hours or something. And I wish I'd never done that now because it's just information in, information gone.
Yeah. I think I'll just put the Lay's other comment up. I think talking about studying is quite similar, I think, to 24-hour readathons in that when I was at uni, pretty much 50% or more of the people who I studied with, and I did music, so everyone knew each other, they pulled all-nighters, and I think it was people just expected you to do that, I think. And
Mm.
I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of conforming, and if you, especially in Booktube, I don't know, not as much as other areas of YouTube, but I feel like people want to do 24-hour read-alongs or do all-nighters for studying, when perhaps if they were on their own and not influenced by other people, maybe they wouldn't choose to do that because they don't want to do that, if you know what I mean. But they see
Yeah,
so many cool people do all-nighters, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. And then
yeah,
I have tried to do it, and then I think, why am I doing this? Like, it's not something I enjoy. I don't know, that's just my personal opinion.
yeah.
And I
Maybe
think,
it should, we should try and encourage like the read for 24 hours in 48 hours. Didn't you do that, Hannah?
yeah,
Didn't you
I
do that?
did. That's another thing that died last year, the last
Oh, that was
weekend readathon.
good. I like
But
that.
oh, maybe I
Yeah,
should bring it back. We shall see.
but yeah, maybe
Oh,
that should be a thing. Like, because still reading for 24 hours like straight is difficult. But then
yeah.
if you're leaving the other 24 hours where you can sleep and eat and stuff as well, then that's, then that's good too. Actually remember
Yeah.
the books you read.
Yeah. I still think it's important people do what they want, but I don't know. I feel like, especially, I'm going to talk about book buying now. I feel like a lot of people, well, because I felt the pressure as well to buy more books with these big book hauls and stuff that like the popular cool booktubers do, and I'm like, I don't really have enough money to do this. And I've heard other people say similar things, in that they feel pressured to spend lots of money on books and do book hauls and stuff like this. And I just think people should do what they want, and you can obviously be influenced by whoever you want to, but just think about, is that actually what you want to do?
Mm.
Is that a desire that you have, or are you being too influenced by other people's decisions, if you know what I mean? I don't know. People should do what they want, and I'm going to shut up.
No, you're absolutely right.
Oh, I
Absolutely
did
right.
all. Well,
Mm.
oh, it was a bad decision to go on a wheelie chair because I'm just kind of spinning around too much. Oh God, I'm breaking things. It's okay. Everything's fine. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
I'm
I was
gonna.
just going to say, going back to Wide Awake and Dreaming, what did you think about her boyfriend,
What, Taylor?
Taylor? Oh, I
I
wanted to
hate.
shake Taylor. I was
I
like,
thought at the
why does he not
beginning.
like listen to her? I don't understand.
Yeah. I thought at the beginning, oh, he seems nice, but then the way he treated her near the end, I was
Yeah,
just like, you're horrible. Like, oh God, what a horrible human being. Yeah, I didn't like him. The fact that
no.
he was completely just unempathetic, completely ignorant towards her mental health. Like, if someone did that to me, if I was saying, oh, I don't think I can go out because I'm feeling anxious, or I don't know, anything like that, and they said, oh God, not this again, I'd feel so upset and feel like I've
Mm.
let people down. And to make someone feel like that, I think it's just absolutely horrible. And
It,
Taylor, goodbye, I don't like you.
yeah, I think it's like really weird, isn't it? Because he was like physically he was there for her and would like help her when she was first on her medication and made sure that
Hmm.
medication sounded brutal as well. Like having to have it before as you go to sleep and then wake up 4 hours later and have it again. I
Yeah,
feel like I would never wake up for that. Like
yeah.
it was very difficult. So to have him there looking after him that way was really good. But then
Mm.
equally, he was just he just didn't want to accept it as a thing, did he? It seems
Yeah,
like from the way she told the story. But yeah, I felt very sorry for her when suddenly she was on her own and that support was gone as
yeah,
well. Even though I feel like she obviously deserved someone better. He was willing to talk about kind of how she was struggling and like how difficult it was because can't even imagine like having to go through that and have your whole life like ripped away. But yeah, it was it was difficult. And I
yeah,
was so like kind of in awe of her that she still managed to keep going and just like still like made sure she did get up even if she had to, and kind of how her and the medication kind of worked and as she went on she kind of had to make compromises with herself. If she woke up late, she had to decide if she was going to miss lectures and all the rest of it. But she still kept going. She didn't give up and not take it, and just so. Well, I suppose she couldn't not take it because then she'd have the other problems. But yeah,
she's very inspiring.
yeah,
And
very
like just her mentality of just keep on going and pushing through is just, I don't know. I think I need to take a leaf out of her book. Well, her audio book.
I want to listen to the audiobook now. I'd happily listen to that again.
It was really good. And I don't know how she has like such strength to go through it. And like, when Taylor left her and her dad as well. Her dad seems like a lovely person, but I think he struggled to accept it as well during the first few. I don't know if it's few weeks or months. I can't remember how long it was. For her to persevere through something so tough, I was like, yeah, you go, girl. You do that. She was, amazing.
I do think it's important, like her work that she's doing now, because she has got a website, which I haven't looked at, and I wanted to look at it when I was reading it, so I will do that, where she gets other people's stories about them living with narcolepsy and stuff, because I think it was like such a big deal for her, the fact that she never acknowledged that she needed the support with it for so long. So she just hid all her naps that she had, and even when she was going to the dean of the university to talk about why her grades were dropping, I couldn't believe that she didn't even bring it up. And that was, and I think that's because nowadays mental health awareness is such a bigger thing, and I think that's good, because then you feel like you can go to your dean or whoever it is who runs the university and say, look, this is what's going on, and very openly, like, this is what I'm dealing with. Whereas at the time she went, it wasn't really like that. So she felt like, well, this is, there's nothing to do with my university, and this is just something else. So I think her work now is really, really good. Have awareness of it all and everything. And be okay with just speaking up about stuff. And accepting help.
Because I think although she was really tough and resilient, I think I think it's with a lot of people that she didn't want to accept. Maybe she did need that extra support, but now once she's realized it, she's doing so much change for the better, and it's just lovely to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
it's such a I'm glad we chose that book.
Yes, me too. I think it went quite nicely, both of them in hand, and learning about sleep and
definitely. Although even though there wasn't really much on narcolepsy, it was really great to kind of learn about that.
Yeah,
guidelines and be more aware of it. I don't think I've ever met anyone with narcolepsy, not that I know of.
No.
My partner went to university with a couple of people who did.
Yeah.
But, so it's obviously a lot more common than you think.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. I can't think if I had much else I wanted to speak about. Was there anything else that you wanted to chat about, Hannah?
I think I've spoken, if I can do English properly, spoken about everything that I wanted to speak about, I think. But yes, I enjoyed reading them, and I can't believe it's the second round. Like, we're talking about sleep already. Like, time has flown. But yes.
I did want to say, actually, if anybody knows any books about lucid dreamers, so people who can control their own dreams, I really want to read about that now. Because I just think that's fascinating. And I quite like the way he kind of said, they don't know if it's detrimental to your sleep health or if it boosts you. And so I liked his kind of speculation about maybe that's the next evolutionary step, where eventually everyone will be able to control their own dreams, which is kind of fun to think about. I quite like that.
I think I get lucid dreaming sometimes, and really? I don't know. I said this in the podcast. I don't know if this is even possible to get more REM sleep than NREM sleep, because you're supposed to get more NREM sleep or NREM or however you would say it. But I feel like I just dream so much when I sleep. And like sometimes say, I don't know, if I'm dreaming about the shopping market, not shopping market, what do you call it? The thing with shops in,
Oh,
shopping
shopping
centre.
centre.
Yeah. Oh God. Like I feel like sometimes I can control where I'm going, if that makes sense. It's really hard to explain, but like it's kind of like real life, but in a dream. But it doesn't happen very often.
So do you
Um,
know you're dreaming when that happens? Or is it,
no,
okay, yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's weird. And then I wake up and I'm like, ah, that was strange. Yeah, my
I
dreaming is
do
just a
know
bit.
what you mean. Sometimes I feel like I am aware that it's a dream, but
Yeah,
I can't physically do anything, I don't think. So
yeah,
unlike, I guess
I
it's the opposite of what you do. So you feel like
yeah,
you're controlling it, whereas I feel like I suddenly know it's a dream, but yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's like I don't have it often, but like I have a consciousness in the dream in that I can make decisions, if that makes sense. Like it's not just like a film or something going on, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Like usually my dreams are like films, or not films, but like I can't control them. But sometimes I don't know, maybe I am a bit aware that I'm dreaming and then I kind of change the actions of the dream, if that makes sense.
oh,
Or
that's
if I
cool.
didn't like one part of my dream, I'll go back and then do it again, if that makes sense. It's so
Yeah,
weird. And I didn't even know that's what lucid dreaming was, but
yeah.
yes, it's a bit strange.
It's cool. It's cool. The
Hmm.
other thing that I quite like that I probably sorry this is over an hour we've been chatting now, isn't it?
Oh no.
But yeah, the other thing I quite liked was oh, what am I trying to say? Oh, not quite liked, but what I thought was kind of scary was how they managed to work out how they were lucid dreaming for real and weren't just lying about it. So they like kind of measured their brain waves of what they were thinking about um, doing something left and right with their hands or something like that. And then they could map the brain waves while they were asleep. So then they could talk to the lucid dreamers. But this whole thing about mapping the brain and being able to tell what people are thinking about is kind of scary because then they can kind of they said they did a dream experiment where they could tell that somebody was like looking at a dog or looking at a tree, which is kind of weird in itself. But I don't really know how that's useful to anyone because dreams are so random. But then I was thinking, well, if you can do it when someone's dreaming, can't you do it when someone's awake and know what they're thinking? Because surely you know that that's the part of the brain that lights up when they're thinking about a dog. Do you know what I mean? And then you can kind of like, and then it's kind of creepy, like how far are people going to take that with stealing people's thoughts? I don't know. That whole thing interests me a lot. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about.
That's so strange. We're going to find the secrets of the universe out through this. We're going to find the computer system that's all controlling us. That's just a little bit of a joke. Oh, I don't know.
You
Yeah,
never
it is
know.
weird. Ooh, I'm having an existential crisis. Oh, but
Yeah,
yeah, that is interesting. I don't know if there have been any books about it. I have to keep an eye out.
yeah.
Hmm.
I did. I went to a science talk a few years ago, and there was this neurologist there who was talking about so people who are unconscious and can't move in comas and stuff. Um, so people that they thought had no kind of awareness at all, they could do these experiments to work out if they were aware or not by getting them to think about tennis or getting them to think about walking around their house, because it lights up different parts of your brain. So then the doctor, he was able to communicate with these people in comas who actually in a lot of cases were conscious and could hear him. And so he would ask them like a yes no questions and then tell them to think about tennis if the answer was yes and to think about walking around their house if the answer was no. So then he was able to communicate with these people, and actually a lot of people were aware. It's just that they couldn't move, which is kind of scary, but amazing because then they could say, you know, work out how much pain they were in and kind of work out what medications they needed and what they wanted them to do, rather than relying on family members and stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah, it was really interesting talk. I'll try and put it in the
that's,
comments. I'll try and find it if it's around somewhere if anyone wants to watch it because it was really
yeah.
interesting.
That sounds
Amazing,
so cool.
amazing tech. Yeah,
Future of medicine.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Oh,
Don't write someone off just because they're in a coma. That's
yeah.
terrible of that. But yeah,
That's so cool.
should we talk about round three?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I
So,
forgot that it begins. So, oh yeah, I don't know if we want to announce it formally or
well, I thought we could maybe say the books, but then probably do a video talking more about them, maybe.
yeah, that sounds good. So I shall share my screen. Oh yes, I should probably say that Space won the poll. So yay for Space. And I'll just share. Let's see if I can do this because I'm a bit of a um not very good at technology sometimes. Right, ready? Da, 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 da. That's the first book we shall be reading is The Planet Factory, Exoplanets and the Search for a Second Earth by Elizabeth Tasker. Do, 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 do. I love this cover with
Yeah, it's
like
really
all the
cool.
planets.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, it's not all the planets, is it? I was thinking it's our planets, but it's not, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 planets there. But anyway, I'm getting too into the cover.
It's a nice cover.
Beautiful, man. And then I don't know if I want to say what the
Yeah,
next
Leigh likes it.
uh, share my screen Chrome tab and Reaching for the Moon, the autobiography of NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson. I just read not read, listened to the audiobook. It's a kid's version um of her life, and she was one of the key people in sending the Americans into space for the first time. And she just seems like a very well, she I don't know, this is the thing, I don't know if she's still alive, but
She
is a
passed away
very
last year, sadly, I saw.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's just so inspiring, fabulous lady. Um,
Mm.
so hopefully people will enjoy that one as
And,
well.
and I think, although I'm not, I think this is about, this is what the film Hidden Figures is based on, the story of Katherine Johnson and her work colleagues. And
Yeah,
that's a really good film. I recommend that, definitely.
I need to watch it, I think, for the
Yeah.
next round.
I need to rewatch it because I watched it a few years ago, but yeah, I do recommend. Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ah, my mum has said, looks very interesting. Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
And then Lay said, as a big space fan, I approve.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I like that emoji as well. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, looking forward to it. Oh, my mum says hello.
Hello. What's my
Hello.
mum? I'll be messaging her. Where does she live?
Oh, it is on my channel, so I guess, yes, she might not know it's here.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking. But yeah, cool. Well, thanks, Hannah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for
Yes,
watching.
yeah, thank you. It's been a good round.
Yeah, and thank you for, well, it was Kim who found the Wide Awake and Dreaming book, and I'm so glad that you did because I think it's just such, I don't know why I've been loving my memoirs recently, and it has opened my mind to like how narcolepsy affects people. And yes, I really enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else did as well.
Yeah, me too,
Oh,
definitely. Thank you so much.
thank you, and well, we'll see you in the next round, which will, I don't know what month that will be. Is it April?
Pretty much April. Yeah, and so probably beginning of May is
Yeah.
the next one.
Oh, that's scary.
That is
Time.
quite
Ugh.
scary.
I wonder
Well,
how life would. Oh. Oh, I think you've frozen. Oh, no, you
oh, I
haven't.
thought
You're
you
all right.
did.
Oh, maybe it was me. Oh. Okie dokie. Well, we shall see you, everybody, in May. Well, for the next live show, and see you in the next round.
Take care,
Goodbye.
guys. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, I forgot I have to press end broadcast twice, so this is a bit awkward now. Goodbye.